Hi, we know that without measurement in physics would not make a complete sense. So what physics is doing is to measure with units, accurate measurement and accurate units for each of the quantities, the physical quantities. Now we're going to be considering the measuring instruments in physics. I'll be considering three measuring instruments, basically. I'll be considering the meter rule. We'll be considering the meter rule. We'll be considering the vernier caliper. We'll be considering the micrometer. Screw gauge. We'll be considering the meter rule, vernier caliper, micrometer, screw gauge. Now, without much further ado, the meter rule can be used to measure the length of a field, the length of a room. Now, for the vernier caliper, which measures more accurately than the meter rule, this vernier caliper can be used to measure the diameter of a tube, the diameter of a rod, okay, even the diameter of a meter rule. All right, so vernier caliper measures more accurate than that of the meter rule, measuring the diameter of a tube, of a rod, and even the diameter of a meter rule. Now we'll talk about the micro screw gauge, which measures much more accurate than the meter rule and measures more accurate than the vernier caliper. And then for the micro screw gauge, it measures the diameter of a wire. You know how tiny a wire is, and the diameter of a small bulb. You know, like the pendulum bulb, the small bulb now. Now, we'll measure the diameter of a paper, if you've seen a paper, let me show you one. I know you have seen one. So to measure the diameter of these, we use the micrometer screw gauge. Now, there's something called the reading accuracy before we start diving into the calculation that we have for today. Now, for the reading accuracy, for the meter rule and for the vernier caliper, it can be calibrated in millimeter, it can be calibrated in cm. All right, it can be calibrated in millimeter, it can be calibrated in cm. So let's use this side and let's call it measuring instrument. Measuring instrument, all right, just measuring instrument. Now we have the first one. Let's meter rule. You need to finish up your own MR for meter rule. Then the next one is the vernier caliper, VC for vernier caliper. Then we have the last one, which is the micrometer screw gauge. All right, micrometer screw gauge. Now, this is the last one we have for today. These are three measuring instruments that we are considering. Let me reduce the gap here. Now, for the meter rule, the reading accuracy of meter rule is 1 millimeter. For the cm, meter rule in cm is 0.1 cm. Now, you don't need to cram, you know, when you're going for exam, they may ask you, which of these is the reading accuracy for meter rule in cm? Which of these is the reading accuracy of meter rule in millimeter? You can ask a question like that. Now, meter rule in meter is 1 meter. In cm is 0.1, just the addition of 0. Take this guy and you put him to this place. Now we have 0.1 millimeter. So that's the measuring accuracy for vernier caliper in millimeter. But in cm, add a 0 to it, becomes 0.01 cm. And you don't need to cram. Just know the one for meter rule, you will know the one for the rest of those. Now bring that this guy, put him over here. We have 0.01 millimeter. And then in cm, we have 0.001 cm. Now you can have a question, which of these is the reading accuracy of micro screw gauge in cm? You have 0.1, 0.01, 0.01, okay, and 0.001. What's the answer there? In cm, 0.001. In millimeter, 0.01. So you need to know that, okay? Now let's now deal with the measuring instrument meter rule. So let's use the meter rule. Now, let's say we have a diagram. And then we have some calibration. And then we have all right, let's say we have this calibration. Okay, now let's call this 3. All right, so let's call this 4. Let's call this 5. All right, now you notice that between each calibration is a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 4. All right, so we're going to have some other stuff here, which is the vernier scale. Let's put somewhere around here. Now, this calibration, and you are asked to find the measurement of this vernier, meter rule. No, sorry, vernier caliper, not meter rule. All right, vernier caliper. All right, this is not a meter rule, this is vernier caliper. All right, now you're asked to find the reading of this vernier caliper. What do? What you need to do is to know that we have the main scale. This is the main scale. Then we have the vernier scale. All right, so you are going to be adding the main scale plus the vernier scale. Now, we have what we call the point of coincidence. The point of coincidence is the point where the vernier scale and the main scale meet together. So this is, just look at this. You notice that at this point is the point of coincidence. Now, there's the point of coincidence where the vernier scale and the main scale meet together. Now, at this point, our reading from over here, we know that we have 3 cm. Now, 3 cm, if you are counting backward, before 3, we have 2. So we have 2 point something. So what will be here is 2.9. All right? What will be here is 2.8. Now, before you get to the junction where we have the vernier scale, you will stop your calibration. You will stop your reading. All right, so we have 2.9 before we get 3. So 2.9, what should be next before 2.9? 2.8. And observe that the vernier scale started from here. This is where the vernier scale started from, which means we are going to call the main scale 2.8 in cm. 2.8. Why? Because there is 2 before 3. And then reading 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 2.8. And then we have the vernier scale. Before we now, if the other one that comes after, you don't bother about that, okay? So we have 2.8. Now we have the vernier scale, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now this is 10. But you're not just going to say 2.8 plus 10. No, you're going to multiply 10 by or with the reading accuracy in cm for vernier caliper. What's reading accuracy in cm? 0.01. So let me put it there. 0.01. All right, so let's do our maths. When we do our maths, we'll get the answer. 10 times 0.01 is going to give me 0.1. Then I'm adding it to 2.8. All right, this is going to give me 2.9. So my answer is equals to 2.9 cm. All right, let's say this